LinkedIn, Twitter. You are live as well. Welcome, everybody. John Aravosis here in Washington, D.C. Hello, TikTok. Hello, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. Doing my queenly wave. Woo, man. Hi, everybody. I'd say a lot of news today. God, I hope I don't go too long. The last couple of days have been feeling kind of news-free. And today actually is news-y, I would say. And I'm trying a new thing where I've got my curtains shut to see if that helps. It's going to make me a little darker on TikTok, but it's better than having horrifically bright sunlight come in. I feel like a vampire. Hey, everybody. Hi, Annette. How are you? It does show me your name there, Annette, but hi from Annette. Hi, everybody. Happy Thursday, Kumar. Happy, everybody. As always, folks, if you want to just sort of tell folks where you are from, that is always a good way to start. Boy, it looks like, what is going on with TikTok? Did it just like freeze? Ooh, lost connection on TikTok. That's not a good thing. Ruh-roh. Hey, you guys. I'm not sure what's going on. I may have to, I think I'm going to have to go off and on TikTok again. Yeah, my TikTok froze. TikTok's playing games. At least you YouTube folks are doing okay. TikTok's playing games. All right, I'm going to have to kill YouTube and come back. I mean, not YouTube. Sorry, YouTube, you're fine. TikTok, I mean. They're playing games. It's a new iPad. That should not be the story. Come on, TikTok. Don't mess with me. All right, let's try this again. It's just kind of sitting here all pathetic. Hold on. Boy, TikTok, if it's not one thing, it's another with them. Anyway, guys, keep introducing yourselves. You know, we go the first 5 minutes anyway of just having you all introduce yourselves. So that way, at least it's not too big of an imposition having me get the TikTokers back in the room. Come on, TikTokers. You can do it. You can do it. Let's see. Resume the live. That would be nice. There we go. That was kind of strange. Hey, everybody. TikTok like froze or did God knows what. Hold on. It also making me look like an orange. There we go. That was kind of annoying. On my end, sorry, I'm explaining to the TikTokers what was going on. On my end, nothing was happening. You guys weren't commenting. You weren't doing anything. So I figured, and it was telling me the connection was bad. So I finally was like, oh, God, I'm just going to have to exit TikTok. Man, TikTok likes to give me a heart attack. Woo. Except now I'm here, right? I've got sound now. There's still no sound? Get out of here. All right. Oh, TikTok is supremely pissing me off. All right. Hold on, guys. I've got to leave and come back. Oh, my God. TikTok is seriously pissing me off. Now there's no sound on TikTok. Unbelievable. All right. Sorry, guys. Clearly, although I think my mic is fine, I think it's just TikTok like crashed and then everything went wrong on me here. Okay. Microphone. Let's make this work this time, TikTok. Come on. Oh, that's nice. TikTok is looking like my live is over. That's nice. My life may be over, but not my live. God, TikTok, you're a pain. All right, let's see if this one works. Go live. Jeez Louise. Man. Well, let's see now. Hopefully they can hear me this time. I love starting these things out with a technical headache because it just gets you. All right, Pale Rose, can you guys hear me this time? Please tell me you can hear me this time. Can you hear me? Please? Oh, thank God. Jeez, give me a heart attack to start the whole thing. Oh, all right. See, it wasn't my mic, though. TikTok, playing games on TikTok. Oh, somebody else is saying, Hollis is saying TikTok has been doing things all day weird for her. Yeah, that was really weird. Wow. Okay. Hi. Well, no, the very first, anyway, now I can tell both of you, TikTok and YouTube and Facebook. The first time I came on, TikTok kept saying the connection wasn't good enough, so it was giving me this buffering thing, and nothing was happening. Whereas, thank you, Christy, now you're making me feel better. Now that I can see the disco ball, I'm feeling a little bit better. Even Sasha's awake after that. Sasha probably heard me going, ah! Oh my God. Okay, guys, we're gonna go. We're gonna go another 4 minutes here just to let the TikTokers finally come in. Oh, I'm so annoyed. That was so annoying. Wow. Oh, you did finally find me on YouTube, Stephanie. Yep, it's not that hard. The only thing is, obviously, finding my profile is not always the easiest thing. Beers from Minneapolis. Hey, Jay. Facebook is good. Hey, Wendy. Facebook, the thing with the Facebook connection is I think it is obviously a mellower group because there's just a couple of you there, and you don't get to see the back and forth chat that happens on YouTube. So, and Syndicate, I don't know if you're here today, but if you are, try running hello, thank you on TikTok for that. Try running Streamlabs desktop in your background, because one thing I discovered was Syndicate and I have been working on sort of some cool upgrades on the YouTube side. And if TikTok ever gives me my key, this virtual key, I can show you guys too, but on how to sort of spruce up the broadcast. But what I found was when I was running the program in the background, Syndicate, oh, here you are, it was eating up my bandwidth. I don't know, but could it be broadcasting like to the system in the sky, but not broadcasting to YouTube? Anyway, I did a speed test and my speeds were like twice as high when I turned the software off, so I turned it off. But if you can, thank you, James. If you could maybe turn it on your end, that would allow me to at least see the updates for the super chats and all of that, which are nice. So thank you if you can, if the spirit moves you. Anyway, guys, we're going to take a couple more minutes to let the TikTokers come in. Of course, because the whole thing crashed now, I'm sure I lost like half of you guys that were going to come. TikTok has been very bad to me lately. I've got a funny feeling they're doing something to try to hide my followers. It's like all of us, yeah, first time no notification. In the last few days on TikTok, suddenly everything got a little quiet. Hey, Borderline and Misfit, appreciate you guys being here. Any case, guys, we'll take another couple minutes. Just say where you're from, introduce yourselves if you would. Your connect. I know your internet connection's fire. That I know. I'm jealous of your connection, Syndicate. Oh my God. Anyway, guys, thank you. That's making me. The funny hats are making me feel a little better, Laka. Or is it Lake or Laka? Harvey. Oh, Harvey's over on the TikTok side as well. Oh my God. Yep, still doing a pathetic viewership on TikTok. I don't know what's going on. I've got a bad feeling that TikTok suddenly like discovered my live, and well, they discovered it, remember, months ago when they banned me, but suddenly my lives on TikTok are getting nobody out of nowhere. It's a little suspicious. So anyway, we shall see. Sasha was in the bed behind me. She has many beds. I'm afraid to admit Sasha has maybe 5 or 6 beds in my little 1-bedroom apartment. But I know there's no more notifications on. So anyway, Sasha's roaming around. Harvey defected, yes, to the TikTokers. When I said I would save TikTok instead of YouTube in a Sophie's Choice, Harvey ran over to to TikTok just in case. I know, guys, TikTok is just being evil. I think the thing with TikTok is I don't think you can rely, even for YouTube, I don't think you can rely on the notification thing. I think, thank you, Freelay. Is it Freelay or Frete? I think the safest thing to do, which is what I do with my lives, like I watch some of the cryptocurrency folks like Wendy and Blockchain Boy and Crypto Weatherman. And if they're ever having lives that they schedule, I simply set a timer. It's the easiest way, or whatever, because I don't really trust getting a notification. And honestly, thank you for that. If I'm away from my computer, the notification doesn't help anyway. You know, I'm glad YouTube. Well, okay, YouTube at least tells you, which is good. But if I'm not at my computer, then like the notification doesn't help. So I always set a literal thing in my address book, not my address book, my calendar or whatever. Anyway, guys, yes, I'm not going to change the time again. We're going to stick with this time for a while. Hey, Dublin and Scotland. This is the time that I was doing it when I was in Chicago for the last month. So I've decided I'm just going to stick with this. We'll do it that way. Speak to a group in November. I could speak to a group of normal people in November, depending who they are. I would consider it. Yeah, TikTok is always a mirror image, though. We don't know why, but in any case, all right, guys. We just have to assume that TikTok is worrying me with this. It does worry me though, because it's like 25% of the normal people turning up. It's not like suddenly I became evil 4 days ago and everyone said don't show up. But like I said, I think TikTok is playing games, but what do you do? What do you do, guys? All right, let's start. As you all know, on TikTok, use the Q&A function at the bottom. This is what I've been doing for a living, actually, for the last couple of months. I do internet politics, media, that kind of stuff anyway. So this was a nice way to continue doing that and on an issue that I care about. On TikTok, enter your questions in the bottom where it says Q&A. On YouTube, you know what to do. Enter the questions in the bottom in your comment box. Same thing for Facebook and everybody else. And on the news was slowing down, but well, that's actually Treva. I think that's part of it. Yeah, I think part of it is that the news is slowing down, perhaps, and folks just aren't paying as much attention. Totally possible. Yeah. But the crypto, yeah, I can. Let's get to that later. I mean, I mentioned who they were, but I don't even remember their handles necessarily. Well, I can tell you right now, the crypto people I follow, and then let's dive in, are Crypto Wendy O. Just kind of Google it, crypto, and then Wendy O, like one word, Wendy O. She's great. The other one, Blockchain Boy, one word, Blockchain Boy. He's fabulous. TikTok is freezing up. I don't know why TikTok's being evil. That's weird, James. No idea. Blockchain Boy, and then Crypto Weatherman is another one you can Google. All three of them are great on TikTok. They've also, Weatherman and Wendy do a lot of YouTubes as well. And I like them. I trust them. They're good. They're good people. They're not out there to make a buck and, cheat you or anything else. TikTok, I don't know. Just so you guys know, okay, some people are saying TikTok's okay for them. We're just going to wing it, guys. It actually, TikTok's bringing more people in. Now, everybody who's new on TikTok, welcome. We are literally about to start. TikTok was possessed today, so we had all sorts of problems. First, it didn't connect. Thank you for the gift on TikTok. First, it didn't connect. Then people couldn't hear me. Then it didn't invite people. So anyway, we are good now. My name is John Arvosis. I am in Washington, D.C. I am now freezing to death after boiling to death because the temperature here in town is very hot and my apartment is literally in the sunlight. So it's just always a joy. I was just telling folks, if you want to pose questions, use the Q&A box at the bottom of TikTok, use the comment box at the bottom of YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. And the other thing is, of course, I appreciate your gifts on TikTok, the little funny stuff you put on my head and everything else. There you go. The cool waves on the bottom. Those also count as gifts to your creator. I did not know that when I first got on TikTok. So when you do those, it actually gives a gift to the creator as well, which helps us keep going. So thank you. And same thing on YouTube. When you guys do the super chat questions, thank you. By the way, somebody's throwing money at me on TikTok. That's what I like. The real money's good, but the virtual is still pretty good. Thank you on TikTok. And as you guys know on YouTube, the super stickers are just a nice way to say thank you. And the super chat questions, of course, I will answer first as a thank you to you for that. Let me dive right in, guys. As I said, there's a good amount of news today. So the U.S. Senate passed the $40 billion aid bill for Ukraine. That bill will now go to President Biden for his signature. As you know, Biden had asked for around $33 billion, and the Senate and the House upped the amount to $40 billion, which is great news, actually. Not just that Ukraine gets more support, but it's also important because it means the Congress has sort of bought into this, and the Congress really wants to support Ukraine, and that matters. I mean, the president can say what he wants, but Congress has to pass the legislation. So that's important moving forward. Included in the money is more weapons for Ukraine. Also about, I forget how much, it might have 10 billion, I forget exactly, but money to replenish the American weapons stockpile of weapons that we already gave to Ukraine, some of the weapons that we need. So some of the money is going for that. $8 billion is going to help the Ukrainian government continue to function. $4 billion, a little more, is going to international disaster assistance because of the concerns about a global famine happening. So it's going to a lot of different things, which is great. President Biden today also announced $100 million in military aid for Ukraine, additional aid that will include artillery, radars, and spare parts. But I was reading some of the military guys say that the spare parts thing is actually very important. Oh, thank you, Liz. I've not seen that one before. That's cute. The spare parts are actually very important because the weapons the Ukrainians are getting, they're now going to need to maintain them, and they need spare parts to maintain them. So that's actually a very big deal as well. Some really crappy news on the weapons front. and I did a TikTok on it, and I was a little worried because TikTok could sense my anger, and it took TikTok a good 5 or 10 minutes to approve this video. I think they're like automated sensors listen to it when this guy is angry. So let me just read you this, okay? Politico reports, and this was a summary from the Kyiv Independent, but then I read the Politico article, and it's totally correct. Listen to this. Ukrainian officials have pleaded with the U.S. for months to send the M270 multiple launch rocket system to Ukraine. But the White House is worried about expanding and prolonging the war as the weapon can be used to launch strikes inside Russia, Politico reported, citing 3 anonymous sources. Ukrainian officials are growing frustrated with the Biden administration's resistance to providing the long-range rocket systems, added that the weapon is critical to outgun Russia in the Donbass, which is the east. Now, just to add to the fun, it's a rocket that shoots really far, bottom line, okay? Just to add to the fun, listen to this. But this is, and I grabbed this from the Politico article itself. But worries persist in the White House that sending the system or its cousin, the high mobility artillery rocket system, could be seen as escalation by the Kremlin, given the weapon's longer range and greater destructive power than traditional artillery such as howitzers or older Soviet rocket systems. So the reason we're not giving it to them, mind you, if we were afraid of the Ukrainians attacking Russia, badass rocket, that's perfectly what to call it. It's easier to explain it. If we were afraid of the Ukrainians using it to attack in Russia, we could tell the Ukrainians, you are forbidden from using this to attack inside Russia. And if you do, the aid is over. That's all you have to do. But to literally start this bullshit again, and I mean, you should hear my little rant on YouTube, on TikTok, I was pissed. To start this bullshit again, where once again, Vladimir Putin's going to get angry. We don't want to upset him. He's going to take it as an escalation. I just okay, first of all, maybe he is going to get angry. You don't freaking say that publicly. You don't publicly say, we don't want to make Putin angry. We're really worried. Because now we're back to where we were at the beginning of the war, where Putin had us by the cojones, right? Thank you, Zelny, for putting the flowers on my head. That's making me feel a little bit better. I appreciate it. You don't empower the enemy. You don't empower Putin. You don't sit there and say, we're really still afraid. We know that 2 weeks ago, we got over it. We got over it. We totally called your bluff. We thought you were just BS. We admitted that we think you're BSing us, right? All these threats of nuclear war and everything else. And we're just going to give everything that Ukraine needs. But now we're back to, we're really afraid of making you angry and we don't want stuff to be escalation. If I'm Putin, I'm going ka-ching. I'm back to where I was before. Okay, block. Okay, you know what? I'm doing this one myself. Since I speak, hold on a moment. Did somebody already get him? Hold on 1 second. 1 moment, I have to block a Russian. Bye-bye, Russian. Since I speak a little Russian, I'm able to block a little Russian. He was writing Ura Russia, which is their little ya cry. Yeah, whatever. But I mean, it just, this is stupid. And frankly, it is also a great way for Democrats to lose in the fall because one more freaking time, it looks like Biden is afraid. And I'm sorry, it pisses the Biden supporters off when I say this. And if you know me, you know I'm not exactly a Trump supporter. But Jesus Christ, do Democrats have to look like they have any less backbone than always going back and forth? We're afraid of Putin. Oh, we're going to help you. We're afraid of Putin. This is the same BS that we're seeing with Germany, with France, and with Italy now. And Biden's doing it. And remember, I told you guys a few days ago that we had the BS comment from our defense secretary who had recommended that in his talk with with his Russian counterpart when he talked about an immediate ceasefire. Thank you, whatcha. And I had said that the immediate ceasefire was actually, kind of what Russia wants. It's not the kind of thing that Friends of Ukraine should be promoting. Anyway, all right. I'm going to stop now, but this really just pisses me off. It is weakness. It is not only bad in terms of Ukraine policy, it is a great way for Democrats to lose the election because we look like freaking wimps. And it is just so impossible for Democrats to get over and not look like wimps. I swear to God, it's just, anyway. All right. CH, can Lend-Lease include U.S. agro surplus? Oh, that's interesting. Be sold as Ukraine exports with money directed back to Ukraine. Boy, that's a complicated question. Jesus. Can Lend-Lease include United States agricultural surplus to be sold as Ukrainian exports with money directed back to Ukraine to rebuild their agricultural infrastructure? Well, okay. I mean, the U.S., and this is a little over my head, but the U.S. provides agricultural subsidies. First of all, we provide agricultural subsidies to our farmers not to produce. So it's kind of a crazy thing we do. And some people were asking, for example, thank you. Is that Isaac maybe? Some people were asking if we could even take away the subsidies and have the farmers produce it and then like sell it, or, you know, to provide grain out there. I'm not sure I'm totally getting, first of all, I didn't know the U.S. had an agricultural surplus, unless you mean just that. The surplus meaning the money we're paying for them not to make it, and we actually could have them grow it, sell it as Ukrainian exports. Well, the money isn't, okay, here's the thing. The money isn't really the problem there. The money is getting, I mean, I think the bigger issue is getting food. We need food for Ukraine and we need food for the world right now. Money's not the issue necessarily. I mean, we can fork over, we don't want the U.S. to go into more debt, but we can fork over more money if we have to, right? To help buy grain. But the problem is we need the grain produced. The Ukrainian grain isn't getting produced for the future. The grain they have isn't getting exported, and that's causing problems. So it's getting the grain on the market. So the question would be, really more, could the U.S. produce more grain? The problem is, we're already in May. I'm guessing any farmers that we're going to, I'm not a farmer here, but any farmers that we're going to plant, we're going to plant. Anyway, I'm not really sure. I'm going to plead a little bit of ignorance on the agricultural side of that, but I think it runs into problems, is my thinking here. Thank you for the hat on there. Let me continue now that I'm done with my rant. The Ukrainians and the Russians are still, thank you, just saying for that, are still negotiating about the Azovstal situation. The Russians say 1,730 soldiers have now left the plant, and that the commanders have not left yet. I have not seen any confirmation from the Ukrainian side of that about exactly how many of the commanders are left inside. But at least it sounds like all the troops have now left and are obviously being held by the Russians. And, the Russians are still deciding if they're going to try them or what the hell they're going to do. Russia, this was kind of good news, and good in multiple ways. Russia reportedly suspended the general in charge of the invasion of Kharkiv. You might recall Kharkiv was never invaded. That's why he was suspended, because it was just like Kyiv, the capital. They were coming at Kharkiv from all sides, and it didn't work. And now the guy lost his job, which is kind of good news. And I also say good news, meaning it's also good news. I'm going to lower my lights a little bit here. It's also good news because it's showing the Russians in sort of dismay. That's not the word I'm looking for. Disarray. There we go. Dismay and array. I made a new word, dismay. But it's showing the Russians in disarray. Disarray. I'm like losing my English tonight. In disarray. And that's good because it just makes it harder for them to implement their policy, their military policy, if they're having problems. And thank you for the origami there. The Russian gymnast who wore the Z at his award, remember the little blonde guy? And he wore the little Z at his award ceremony when he was standing next to the Ukrainian athlete. He's been banned for a year from gymnastics competitions in the International Gymnastics League. And he's been ordered to return his medal, which I thought was interesting. So that's going to be interesting to see if he returns it or what. I'm guessing if he doesn't return it, he may never be coming back to international gymnastics again. I'm sure he's a hero for the fatherland and all that garbage, but nonetheless, very interesting. I'm your font of knowledge. Yes, I tried to be, but I'm not your font of knowledge. I admit I'm not the font of knowledge in everything. Let me just see real quick what Syndicate is saying here, and I'll jump back to my stuff. NATO is also the biggest BS ever. Remember, Syndicate, I did swear, but we're trying to watch the swearing and writing too, just because we're, but I admit I swore talking about NATO, about Biden. Ukraine Ukraine, feel free to apply for NATO. Oh yeah, but you won't join for at least a decade, but Finland and Sweden can join, no problem. Exactly. Yes. Basically, yes. NATO has been saying, basically, the NATO governments are saying, oh yeah, Ukraine, we're not going to let them in for decades. And even with the European Union now, the French and the Germans both said, after Austria pulled like a Mein Kampf on everybody and said, it will take decades for the Ukraine, I'm doing an accent that isn't Austrian, but it will take decades for the Ukrainians to learn our culture, if you know what I mean. Those dark little Ukrainians, because of course it takes a long time to learn to be as astute as an Austrian. No offense to the Austrians out there, but come on. But then the Germans and the French are doing the same BS. Oh, it will be years, not months. And I think they even said decades or something. They're already, it's really kind of sad. They're already realizing they got too cozy with Ukraine. And now for some reason, the French, the Germans, and the Austrians, and I think some of the other Europeans are already getting a little cold feet or creeped out or something about the close relationship they're having with the Ukrainians. But it's really, we still got the weapons going. We're still talking about sanctions. That's good. But there's something creepy going on at the same time, and I'm not sure why. So we got our little gymnast. He's toast. The Russians are reportedly trying to draft young men in the town of Izium, which is right. Someday I'm going to have my either green screen or a map with me. Thank you on TikTok there. The Izium is south of Kharkiv in the east, but not so far east. But in the east, it is one of the key towns that they've been fighting over. The Russians have been occupying it, but not for long. And reportedly, they've been threatening young men in the town that either, thank you, Louis, for that either you join the Russian military or we're deporting you to Russia. Yeah, you get it. The Russian who pleaded guilty to murdering the 62-year-old Ukrainian man on the bicycle, the Russian soldier, he has pleaded guilty, as you know. Today, he asked the man's wife for forgiveness. He faces life in prison. No other news on that. I thought it was interesting. It's something he's asking for forgiveness, but, I still think he's going to jail for his life for that because he knew better, as you guys were saying. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg says that Russia's offensive in Donbass, which is the east, is stalled, but the war may continue for a long time. He does not believe that Russia has given up on its strategic goals. Again, this does not surprise me. This is sort of what I was talking. I'll continue in a second, but what I was talking about yesterday. Thank you, just saying for that. What I was talking about yesterday is I'm worried that you are going to see Russia digging in more and more and more, and that we're going to have a situation where the Russians are taking the territory they've got and just, digging in, but literally militarily digging in, the trenches, the defenses, the mines, you name it. And it's going to be very hard for the Ukrainians. It's going to take a long time for the Ukrainians to take it back. The stuff in the east, they've been a little more successful. Obviously, the northeast and Kharkiv, very successful. Kyiv, but this stuff in the south is going to be difficult. So this war is not going to be over anytime soon. The Google pulled its employees from Russia after Russia seized Google's corporate bank account in that country. The Croatian president, I did a little research on this. I think one of you may have raised the issue of the Croatian. You did. You raised the issue. Oops. Of course. Who else? Who else, I ask you? It's Mom. That's very funny. Since Mom is famous for calling me in the middle of these broadcasts, that absolutely makes me laugh. Hi, Mom. Mom missed you guys. I'm going to call her afterwards. That's really freaking funny. Well, because my mom used to call when I didn't have my iPad. I was using my phone to do TikTok for the lives, and my mother would call and it would freeze the TikTok live. And she did it like 3 days in a row. That was the funniest damn thing. 3 days in a row. I was like, Ma. So, and the third day was like the weekend. Like first she does evenings at just the right time, and then she did the weekends at just the right time. Anyway, so somebody raised yesterday that the Croatian president was saying that he would, order their UN ambassador to oppose Finland and Sweden joining NATO. And I was asking you guys and said, wait a minute, Croatia or Serbia? Like, who do you mean? And you said, no, Croatia. Well, I looked into it, and the Croatian president doesn't matter. he's a figurehead, whatever. So he doesn't really have any power. The foreign minister already came out and said, the foreign minister already came out and said that we are 100% behind those countries joining, and they've directed their ambassadors to support their applications to NATO. So that's good. So there you go. This story, I've got a final Russia story and then a quick America story. But this is kind of a funny story because it created quite a brouhaha with two Russian TikTokers who, well, let's just say I don't trust anybody broadcasting from Russia right now because all the independent people broadcasting from Russia are gone. They're either in jail or they've left the country. But seriously, the independent broadcasters are gone from Russia. And so anybody you see online who's left, be very weary of them and leery of them if they're in Russia. In any case, I did a story that ended up being true. What a surprise. Little old me doing a true story about how the Western sanctions, and this was in Izvestia, which is a pro-Kremlin publication. Any of you who followed the Soviet Union back in the day are familiar with Izvestia, one of the big, three, I would say, 2 or 3 Russian actually, it was Pravda, Izvestia, Komsomolskaya, I can't get it right. Pravda? I can't say that word, but there were 3 or 4, but Izvestia was one of the big ones. Anyway, Izvestia came out and said that the Western sanctions are having a devastating impact on the Russian cinemas, on movie theaters, and that people are not going because they literally don't have movies anymore. The estimate is that 50% of Russian cinemas eventually will close as a result of the sanctions. And interestingly enough, that Russian malls, shopping centers are having problems. And I don't quite get the connection, but people not going to the movies are not shopping in the mall either. And I guess maybe after the movies, you'd go to the mall or before or after, whatever, but I guess you're in the mall, so that a lot of the stores are having problems. And it's becoming a compound economic problem. Well, the Russian TikTokers who claim to be objective were very mad at me, as good Russian TikTokers who support the Ukraine war would be. They would, of course, want to spend a lot of time going after a fellow TikToker who supports Ukraine. But I digress. In any case, they came out, did a video. He's lying. He's anti-Russian. Blah, blah, blah. And what do you know? I did a simple Google search, and what did I find? A statement from the Russian Movie Theater Association, and they said 100% true that the money has plummeted. COVID was bad. The sanctions are far worse, and it was their prediction that half of Russian movie theaters, cinemas, will now close. So I will just leave that one there as far as my big I told you so, but all I will say here is I do try to fact check things, and I try to get stuff right, because one of the things in being, I always hate to use the term influencer. It's the term people use now, which makes me laugh. When I first heard it a couple months ago, it was like an influencer. But when you try to do stuff publicly, and I've been doing stuff publicly for decades on news issues and activism and everything else, you kind of have to get it right or people won't believe you. And you basically develop a track record, and your track record ends up, like I said, that you don't get it wrong. People know you don't get it wrong, and then they tell their friends about you because you don't get it wrong, right? So anyway, I try to do that, but it just makes me glad because, like I said, these Russians living in Russia keep attacking me, and what do you know? They were wrong, and I was right. And that's a whole other discussion, like I said, for another day, but bottom line, be very careful. And I do see a Harvey, and I forgot about CBs as well. I'm going to jump right now. Just be very careful of who you're following online in general and where you're getting your information. There is nobody in Russia right now who can tell the truth about what's going on. Nobody after what's happened. One of you guys, maybe, I don't know if you're watching, but on TikTok, sent me the TikTok handle of a guy, maybe his name's Greg, translated in English, Greg, but he's a Russian blogger who first was blogging, it was kind of wild looking at his profile. March 6th, he's on Red Square, right? The big famous part of Moscow with the church behind it. Is it St. Basil's? I forget the name. And the Kremlin there. And he's talking about his friends protesting against the war. 6 days later, he's doing a video and he says, I had to leave the country because the government was coming after me, and he's now doing videos from somewhere abroad, and they're really good videos taking on Putin, the country, etc. But that's the whole point, is that if you're broadcasting from Russia and you're taking on the war and you're saying that, you're opposed and the government isn't coming after you, then I got news for you. I got a bridge to sell you. In any case, be very careful who you're watching that's broadcasting from Russia. And I say this, I'll let it go. But I've been to Russia. I've been to the Soviet Union. I've been studying this stuff a long time. I talked to a lot of my friends who did. One of my friends I called today, who's a Russia expert. I told the story, and the response I got was, mm-hmm. I didn't even have to ask the question when I mentioned, so do you think people are like TikToking from inside Russia and telling the truth? And she went, all right, I'll let it go. CB Win, I did see Bush's Freudian slip. Yes, so President Bush was talking about, and I mean, to his credit, President Bush is in his 70s now, and he was talking about Ukraine, and he was trying to get the message out that what Vladimir Putin did, invading this free, independent country based on a lie, was a really bad thing. And he basically said something like, it's really bad to lie. It's really bad to lie or to base your invasion of, I'm going to say this poorly, but basically he said Iraq instead of Ukraine. And he said, it's really bad to invade Iraq based on a lie. And he went, I mean, Ukraine. And everybody went, oh. So that was pretty wild. CB Win is also saying Moscow does not believe it. And Sasha, I cannot tuck you in right now. No, I'm sorry. My dog has this thing where if she can't quite, she's making these horrible sounds. If she's not, oh my God. All right, hold on, guys. My dog has this thing where if she can't get the blanket on her just perfectly, I get an hour of sad noises. All right, here you go. All right, there you go. Okay, I'm giving her water too now so that we don't have to deal with that interruption. But it's the funniest damn thing. My dog, Sasha, talks. And I kid you not. Sorry about that. She freaking talks. She literally sits there and goes, and it just keeps crowing. Anyway, Moscow Does Not Believe in Tears, a great movie. People were telling me that there are some great Russian movies, so I do not doubt that. But Moscow's going to be watching Does Not Believe in Tears a lot of times, I think, because they're not going to be watching much else. And Kanto isn't coming anytime soon. So thoughts on Patriarch Kirill, Harvey. Okay, Harvey, it's a Harvey test. Hang on. Harvey Kittle. I've got to wear my glasses for Harvey Kittle because the Harvey Kittle questions are like getting accepted to Mensa. Thoughts on Patriarch Kirill. Oh my God. Comparing Putin to Peter the Great, saying Putin was bringing Russia into a golden age. He's such a horrible human being. I was asking my mom about the Patriarch because we're Greek Orthodox, which is, sister religion to Russian Orthodox, Eastern Orthodox. We were saying, what is it, Latvia, Lithuanian, all of us, where, I don't know, I shouldn't say Latvia, Lithuania. I think the Lithuanians are. I don't know about the rest. Is everybody? Are all the Baltic states, for example, Orthodox? I don't know. Sorry, Mama Kendra, I've got you thrown in here. Oh, a couple came in while I was talking. Hang on. Just saving your guys' questions. But are all the Baltics, for example, Eastern Orthodox? I don't know. But nonetheless, we're all very similar religions. And Mom and I were both talking about Kirill, and Mom is much more religious than I am. And Mom was not thrilled just at the whole concept of how can a holy man be for war, but basically be for an unjust war? We don't talk about Bruno. We don't talk about Putin. No, I mean, I'm not surprised. He got scolded by the Pope. It's just very sad. Yeah. No, I mean, what to say about it, Harvey? It's the Russian church is the lapdog of what did the Pope say? The Pope put out some kind of a quote about don't become Putin's altar boy or something like that. And he is. He's been caught wearing Rolex watches and luxury blends. The Patriarch? Wow. That's wild. Oh, this is interesting. Sorry. So Syndicate's saying, and actually I had one more quick little story. Syndicate is saying that President Zelensky topped the Time 100 rankings. Readers of Time magazine consider Zelensky the most influential person in 2022. At this point, Putin, this is where it gets kind of funky, because what the Time magazine sort of person of the year thing, or whatever you want to call it, it's not always a good thing. Hitler was their person of the year one year. It is the person who, as this says, most influenced events that year. And sometimes it can be for the bad. So you could argue it's Putin this year. You could argue it's Zelensky. You could argue it's Putin and Zelensky, because they both have influenced events the most, really. Because Zelensky, because he also showed up Russia in a way that no one ever expected you could. But you could make it both. I don't know whether the world is ready for you to make it both, though, right? Or whether that would be considered offensive. Oop, hang on. Use the sense for comfort something. All right, so I'm trying to move now that my air conditioning, there we go. Come on, air, there we go, my air conditioning. Interesting, yeah, I had not seen that. Let me, I had a few more questions here. So the Patriarch, Mama Kendra, the U.S. and Europe is supportive, then flaky with Ukraine. Yeah. So the U.S. and Europe are supportive of Ukraine, then they're flaky with Ukraine. My head is spinning how often this change happens. Yep. Do you think Russia is bearing down on everyone harder with secret threats? Yes. Is this normal war behavior? No. I think, it's funny. Hi, Argentina. Good to see you. We are in the middle of just talking about Ukraine and Russia and all the good stuff. I think you are seeing Biden get a little bit of cold feet, and certainly the Germans, the French, and the Italians, because Putin did something. The Russians did something. Yeah. I think, first of all, couple things. I shouldn't say the Russians. Something happened, okay? Either the Russians said something privately that scared them. It's possible at the same time that when you see Stoltenberg, for example, and others talk about how the war is going to go on for a long time, they got a briefing or an analysis from intelligence or whatever that said this war could go on for years, that we could be spending this kind of money for years. We could be having these sanctions for years. And that made the Europeans go, with regards to the economic sanctions. And it may have made Biden go, with regards to, I don't know what. I don't know. Biden's response is not a length question. Biden's response is clearly one of fear of Putin, which means Putin did something to scare him again. And the intelligence guy said, yeah, we intercepted something that shows Putin's not kidding when he says about using the nukes or whatever the hell it is. But I got to tell you, show a little backbone, people. I swear to God. I mean, that's not the way you make policy. I realize you don't just make policy by showing backbone, but you do ruin policy by not showing backbone. There is an aspect of that. Kevin asks, maybe they are afraid of Putin because they don't want their own people to die, but are okay about those who are dying that are being invaded by a tyrant. Well, I mean, sure, but let me read that again. Let me read it again for folks on TikTok. Kevin says, maybe they, meaning it could be the Europeans, it could be the Americans government, are afraid of Putin because they don't want their own people to die, in other words, in Europe or America, in a war with Russia, but are okay about those who are dying that are being invaded by a tyrant, meaning Ukrainians dying. The thing is, it's not totally unjust for a government to focus first on its own people, okay? It is not wrong for a government to balance the interest and say, yes, you in that country are dying, but if we get involved in the fight, then we are going to, literally in the fight, like throwing men at arms, then we're going to be dying. And I've got to do a bit of a trade-off as a leader as to whether it's worth my countrymen dying to save your countrymen from dying. It's an analysis that you've got to do as the leader of a country, especially a democratically elected country, right? Putin can just do it to a degree. But for the rest of us, our countries have to be satisfied with us doing it. Otherwise, you elect somebody else. Biden handles this wrongly or whatever, and Trump comes in 2 years and pulls us out of NATO too, for that matter, right? So, you got to worry about how things play at home. But I think what's missing here is, thank you, by the way, on TikTok. And I do appreciate those. Sorry. I'm like in the middle of trying to formulate my argument. Otherwise, I would have said thank you earlier. I think what's happening, though, is there's some reason that our leaders are once again worried that our people are going to die in a war with Russia. And something got them going in France, in Germany, in Italy, and America. but not Britain, right? Britain's not freaking out. It's got the other four not freaking out, but freaking out a little bit. Hi, Canada. Welcome. Freaking out a little bit because something happened. They got some intelligence, you know what I mean? Like I said, Putin called and threatened them, but something happened to change the equation, and that's what I'm not sure what it is. In any case, all right, let me, the last little bit I was going to give you guys Linda, thank you for that, for the super sticker. You've done that before. I appreciate that. I recognize your name. I'm recognizing your name. The last story I was going to tell you really quick. And it's an American story, but I throw it in because I think it's of interest internationally to you guys. You know, we're having this debate about abortion in the States, that the Supreme Court decision that pretty much is going to overrule abortion. There's a very small chance of this not happening. Excuse me, not overrule. It is going to overturn the decision that legalized abortion in America. Thank you, Chacha, for that. That's going to be coming out in principle at the end of June is the expectation. And Oklahoma, one of the kind of southern states. I don't consider Oklahoma's kind of Midwestern. It's in the middle of the country, but it's kind of southern, a little bit of both. Very conservative. Thank you for the hat and for the stash and glasses there. Oklahoma just passed a law that bans abortion at fertilization, okay? At fertilization, and made an exception for rape and incest, sorry to say the word on TikTok, whatever, only if the crimes are reported to the police. If the crimes are not reported to the police, the doctor is not allowed to do the abortion. And part of the problem with that is that, okay, not all rape victims will report it, but especially incest, if it's your dad. Like what? I mean, if it's a kid and it's the father, it requires the kid to report it to the police. It requires the mother to report it to the police. I mean, like that is not always going to happen. I mean, but they might actually at least tell the doctor, you've got to, in confidence, you've got to know what happened. Anyway, I just wanted to put it out there. Oklahoma, and again, I'm bringing this up because I got news for you folks. At the end of June next month, this is likely happening, and because we're doing a news show, we're gonna have to talk about it. I mean, also, as I've said, I'd like my news to be branching out a little bit beyond Ukraine anyway, sort of looking to our post-Ukraine future when hopefully Ukraine is free. But especially when any kind of a big story hits. But yeah, Oklahoma also has a law on the books, as do around 19 other states or so. I think about 20 of the 50 American states have laws on the books that say if Roe v. Wade is overturned, which is the Supreme Court decision protecting the right to choose, the right to an abortion, if Roe v. Wade is struck down, that state will immediately ban all abortions. 20 states, almost half of the American states, it will be instantaneous. So this is a big deal. It's a big deal. Okay, just saying. And again, I don't mean to start like an abortion fight kind of thing here, but I think it's an important issue, and it's happening anyway, so we got to discuss it. Annette says, sad to say this, but the public Annette's in Denmark. I always forget where you are, Denmark. I guess Rasmussen I should maybe know, but I don't know my Scandinavian names. The public in Denmark is getting tired of the inflation and prices going up. Tired of Zelensky begging weapons. See, that's interesting. Okay. So many bad comments on Facebook everywhere. Our prime minister is getting very unpopular because of this. Interesting. Maybe the same thing is happening in other European countries. That's interesting. That's interesting. I do know, and sorry, like picking questions, we jump around a bit here. I do know that here we have seen some Republicans try to push that concept. It has not been very successful yet. The Republican Party, as you just saw, actually, I've got to see what the votes, let me see what the votes were. Or if somebody want to Google while I'm talking and see what was the actual vote today in the Senate, Democrats and Republicans, what was the final vote of who voted for the aid package and who, not who, but how many voted for the aid package, how many against? I'd be curious to see how many Republicans voted, because I think we're still dealing with Republicans being very supportive and only a few being negative in our country, which is good. But some of the Republicans are trying to push this message of, you're helping Ukrainians and you're not helping Americans, right? That kind of sort of the nativist thing, which if the economy starts getting worse, well, if the economy starts getting worse, or the perception of the economy getting worse is happening, it doesn't really matter if the economy is getting worse or not. Sometimes the public just thinks the economy is getting worse, and that's enough to scare them. If they think the economy is getting worse, they will often be less sympathetic about helping somebody else, whether that other person is a poor person, whether that other person is somebody in Ukraine. All the worse if it's a non-American, right? In our country, at least. Let me just see. Yep, CB. Sorry, you're just giving Harvey a little background there. For a good background on how abortion has been used by conservatives, follow Heather Cox Richardson. She's very good. Yeah, this woman they're mentioning on YouTube, Heather Cox Richardson, COX, Heather Cox Richardson. She has a Substack. So she's Heather Cox Richardson, again, COX, .substack.com, .net, excuse me. She's really good. I subscribe to her newsletter. If anything, her newsletter is a little long. She does this nightly newsletter that is a summary of American news. And I mean, it's a long mofo. It's really, I don't know how she does it. I'd be burned out. I mean, every night she must be up all night doing this because she does it at the end of the news day, but really amazing. But she's very good. Yeah, I would highly recommend her. Okay, like I said, that was it for the news story. So I will just jump back and forth. I did see Syndicated posted something, and I'll just jump back and forth with the questions here. Congress and the Supreme Court need to have a limit on how long someone can serve the country, Syndicate is saying. The stuff that is happening in the USA is insane and against human rights. People have talked for years about term limits. I'm pretty sure we need a constitutional amendment for it. The Supreme Court, you don't need a constitutional amendment, but it's controversial. Her name is Heather Cox Richardson. Actually, I'm going to see if I can, because somehow there's a way for me to comment in here. Where is this? Is this how I do it? I had learned once, there we go. Or I can, here we go. Oops. Stop it. I'm trying to, here we go. Okay. Sorry, guys. I just want to type this in for you all on Heather Cox Richardson. Heather Cox Richardson. That's her name altogether. You can probably Google it as one, and you'll find her Substack. I don't know if she's on TikTok. That's an interesting question. But there you go. She's very good. Or obviously her name is Heather Cox Richardson. So you can Google all three, and I'm sure her newsletter I get the free version of her. Actually, her newsletter might even be free and you can contribute. As I said, very good, but oh my God, it's a real, she's on Facebook too. Okay. She's very prolific, this woman. I don't know how she's got the stand. Well, wherever she is, I get her Substack, her newsletter by email. It's very good. All right, let me jump to a TikTok question. As I said, guys, your questions, the Q&A on TikTok, enter the questions there, and on YouTube and everything else, just enter them in the comment box. And if the spirit moves you, you can do a super chat question or put funny hats on my head. whatever makes you happy. Why Jeff asks, why did Russia send nukes to the Finnish border? I had read that about Russia sending nukes to the Finnish border, and thank you for that, by the way. The garland. Oh, sorry. Quick little side, because Samantha put the little funny garland on my head. I was seeing, because today is, hold on, I'm going to pull up the picture. How do you call it? I've got it in here. It is the day in Ukraine that they celebrate the traditional folkloric garments that are woven with the beautiful designs and all of that. And it starts with a V. Hold on. See if I can pull this up. Starts with a V. Vishivanka Day. VU makes me, I think it sounds like Willy Wonka Day, which makes me laugh. Vishivanka Day. It's the way a Swede would say Willy Wonka. Vishivanka. Vishivanka Day. But the cute thing was I'm going to show you this. They got they did a little outfit for Patron, who's the dog that sniffs the bombs and the mines. And they gave him a little Ukrainian outfit for Patron, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. Wait, there was one more here, I think. It was absolutely adorable. Hold on. Come on, Patron. I've got the other. I had the other Patron. Oh, here we go. Hold on. I'm going to lighten this up. I like dogs, obviously, so it cracks me up. And frankly, considering the news we do, it helps a little to have something kind of cute. So this was the other one of Patron sort of sitting up in his outfit. I mean, is this just absolutely adorable? It cracks me up. I just love that. Just a funny, goofy thing, but it made me laugh. PB&J, did I see what? Sorry, and then I'm still going to talk about the nukes. Thank you, world. Thank you, Ukraine, for your support. See you. Oh, Deputy Commander Azov said in a short address. Oh, okay. Thank you, world. Thank you, Ukraine. Okay, so have they finally? Thank you for the lights, Tiffany. Did the commander finally leave? That's what I'm curious about. What the deal is with that? I want Patron the dog, and I want the outfit. I love those Ukrainian outfits. I think they're beautiful. More. CB is saying more about Heather Cox Richardson, who we love. Heather has a large paid subscriber base following on Substack, which funds a staff of, I think, around 10 or more people. Oh, and everything is well researched. Okay, that explains it. Heather Cox Richardson, the woman we talked about, because I told you she writes this huge newsletter every night that I would be out of my mind. I mean, yeah, okay, that explains it then. Okay, yeah, because she does very well and has a staff. Thank you for the hat. That explains it. So, yes, I was going to answer your question. So Russia is sending nukes to be a jerk. This is what they do. Thank you, Erevosis fan. Creepy. You have my picture and my name. A little bit creepy, maybe. but you're a fan and you're buying me gifts. So I thank you for that. And for the corgi. So, Putin's being Putin. He's trying to freak NATO. He's trying to freak Finland out. I don't know what he thinks he's achieving because Finland already applied to join NATO. It's over. And they already got security guarantees from Iceland, from Denmark, from Norway, I believe, and from the United Kingdom. And the United Kingdom even went so far as to say that if there's war, if the Russians attack, the United Kingdom will put soldiers on the ground in Norway, in Finland and Sweden, if the countries request it. So it's crazy. It's crazy for Putin to be doing the nuke thing. The only thing I could think of is, again, take us back to that discussion we had at the very beginning, okay? Where I had said that it is very dangerous to keep telling Putin, we're afraid of escalation. We're afraid of giving these long-range rockets to Ukraine because Putin may get mad, and who knows what he'll do if he gets mad. Well, what Putin then does is he moves nuclear weapons to the Finnish border because he wants Biden and everybody else and Germany, Macron and Schultz and whoever the hell's in charge of Italy this month to sit there and say, oh my God, he's moving nuclear weapons. What's he going to do? So ironically, it shouldn't scare the Finns, but I think it's scaring our leaders. And then they're doing stupid stuff like I talked about at the beginning. So anyway, don't get me on that topic again. It annoys me. Let me find another question here. God, the war could continue. I think the war could continue a very long time because I think you're going to see the Russians dig in, and it could take Ukraine a very long time to basically get the Russians dug out, so to speak. Okay. That's coming from you, PB&J, or you're quoting somebody else? The territory, certain operations underway. I will not disclose details. Okay, that's kind of wild if that's you there. Just looking to see. Yeah, I hear you, Christy. Just looking here to see Harvey, and then I'll jump back. I can jump back to you guys again. I see that, PB&J. I just wasn't clear if you were quoting somebody else or saying that's you. Anyway, that's fine. No, PB&J has been here before. So he's a regular. Thoughts on Michael Sheremit, the Russian Duma leader, making a speech stating that Russia should ditch the tricolor. Oh, thank you. Okay, should ditch the tricolor and go back to the Soviet flag in order to promote unity. I was saying, and I maybe I didn't say it because I thought people would make fun of me, but one of the things I was going to throw out there was whether Putin would sort of redeclare the Soviet Union. Oh, PB&J is quoting the Azov commander. Okay. Sorry, I thought PB&J was saying he's over there. I'm like, PB&J isn't a troll. He's been a regular here. Now he's fighting with Azov. I was going to say, and I thought people would make fun of me, that couldn't you see Putin on the May 9th, their big victory day with the troops coming down the street and everything else. Thank you, Samantha. Couldn't you see him saying, I'm redeclaring the Soviet Union and renaming the country and taking the flag back? That I'm kind of wondering that. I would not be. The Russians keep using the Soviet flag, and it's creepy. The Soviet Union was a horrific dictatorship. I was there. It was. Thank you, Hector, for that. I wasn't there for long, I admit, but I was there for 10 days. It was a horrific dictatorship. I watched friends of ours get arrested, Russian friends get arrested and taken away by the secret police simply because we befriended them. They were our age, like 20 years old. They were friends and they got arrested for being our friends. I mean, disgusting, that play. Horrific dictatorship. Also, and I say this in part because of the fear that everyday Russians had of coming up to us was fascinating and sad. I've mentioned this before. The big, tall, blonde guy in Russian buses, you get like crammed together, especially in the winter, at least in Moscow. And we're like crammed together in this bus. And of course, we're looking like total Americans in our ski jackets. I mean, that's the jacket I had for winter. I had my ski jacket. And you're going to Russia. What else are you going to wear? I brought it with me to France to study abroad because I knew I was going to be skiing. And if you're going to Moscow and Leningrad at the time in the winter, you bring a ski jacket. You don't just bring a regular jacket. So, but I'm there in my brightly red, white, and blue American ski jacket. And the Russian guy, obviously, they knew who we were. And some Russian comes behind me and starts whispering in my ear, asking me questions about Reagan. And you're going, holy shit. There was another long story. This one, I may not give you the whole long story, but this one was fascinating too. We're on a plane between Moscow and Leningrad, now St. Petersburg. And there were some Russian military guys on the plane with us. And I'm there with the people in our tour group who are pretty much all Americans, but we were all studying in France, so it was kind of funny. And the Russian is sitting I'm in the aisle, 3 and 3, okay? I'm in the aisle seat, the Russian's in the aisle seat. And we're all talking, and we're American, and, the whole plane is Russian, and literally like the 9 of us Americans. And you can tell the whole plane is just it's 1984. It's February of 1984. The people on the plane are like, this is like the height of the Cold War with Reagan and everything. And they're just sitting here going, what are these Americans doing there? But of course, they can't talk to us because they're afraid. So we're talking everything. I opened my gum that I brought, my chewing gum that I brought from France. And of course, the brand, which is really funny, the popular brand in France, maybe it still is at the time, was Hollywood chewing gum. And it says Hollywood written across. Well, in Russia at this point, everything American was very sought after. You brought American blue jeans. You brought Marlboro cigarettes. These were the things you brought to trade with the Russians because they really. So the fact chewing gum was also in demand because American, or I should say foreign chewing gum, European chewing gum, or American was very good. And this stuff said Hollywood, which made it even bigger. So we're offering it to each other. And one of my friends says to me, hey, offer some to the soldier. And literally, so I'm in the aisle, he's in the aisle. And it's this, again, I'm like 20, he's 20. This 20-year-old Russian kid. Was I 20, 17? I was 19, actually. I'm 19. And he's about my age. And I I'm laughing now because it's the middle of the freaking Cold War. This guy's in his whole military uniform. But he's sitting next to other civilians, and the military guys are way in back of the plane. The military guys are back like in row 30. He's with us in row 6 or 7, okay? So I hit him on the shoulder, and he turns and looks and I held the gum out, and he literally kind of looks at me and goes like that and turns away. And now we're going, oh my God, because we can tell he kind of wanted it, but it was clearly a terrified no. So the plane goes, we land. This is now, half an hour later. The plane lands, and I forget Oh yes, the plane lands, and we're getting up now, and everyone, of course, Russia. I think like a lot of planes, everyone jumps up at once, and everyone's grabbing their bags from the overhead and everything else, right? So it's a crowd of people. His military guys are still in back, but since everyone's standing up now, the military guys can't see us because now it's a sea of people going back. So I've got my gum again in the hand, and I pulled like a couple strips, and once again, I kind of looked at him, and I was like, you know. And I mean, I speak a little Russian. I must have said something, you know. Oh, I know what I said. I think I said padarak, like gift. And I might have even said like padarak, you know, v Ameriki or however you'd say from America or whatever, right? And he kind of looked at me again and turned away, and my heart sunk because I was like, fuck. You know, I still want to make a connection with this guy. I kid you freaking not. So I'm going to like, I'm going to grab my friend, or even better, I've got like my little, my sprayer for my sanitizer. I sitting here in my hand and I'm thinking, because we're both facing the same way, I can give it to him, and he looks at me and just turns around. So now he's got his big heavy jacket on, his back is to me, he's got his bag or whatever, and they're about to leave the plane. And I kid you not, I'm trying to show like both of you, this hand comes behind the guy, literally a hand comes behind under his arm, grabs the gum from my hand, and he just slips it and walks away, never looks back. And oh my God, I mean, all of us were like, oh my God, it was like something out of a spy movie. I mean, for 3 pieces of chewing gum. But it was an amazing story, but I also say it to tell you how effed up that country is. And this was the Soviet Union, but I got news for you. It ain't great right now either. Like just how scared people were back then. And I mean, and how much it warped relationships and everything else. I mean, literally taking gum from an American. Now, mind you, he's military, but still. But it was an amazing story, Anyway, woof. So sorry, I went on that tangent, but it was a good tangent. It was a Russia tangent. But yeah, so with the Soviet flag, my point is the reverence you see from the Russians about the Soviet Union is really effed up. It's really effed up. It was a scary place. I don't know what I would do with the Discord channel. I'd consider it, but I don't know what I would do with one. You know? Yeah, for some, Hollywood chewing gum. So it was, you know, got French gum. It was pretty good gum. I will say this, the French make a good chewing gum, but also literally it said Hollywood on it, so you couldn't get more American to give to this guy, even though it was French. He didn't know it was French. But kind of amazing. It was a good tangent. Well, and it was relevant since I'm telling you about Russia. But I'm also saying like that's how messed up things are over there. It's not quite the Soviet Union, but I kind of feel like we're pretty much back to the Soviet Union though, guys. And my lesson I always tell people who are younger than me, this is also to give you a glimpse as to why things were so screwy back then. And I mean, why Reagan, for example, was so anti-Soviet, and why, frankly, the Americans were too. This was what was going on. It was this was a serious dictatorship. This was not just somebody who had a little bit of an ideology we disagreed with, you know? So hold on. Now, of course, I'm once again now it's getting warm in here again. Put on my fan. That'll help. That should help. Okay. Woo. That was my educational tangent. Yes. Q&A. Finland and Sweden joining NATO. I'm ecstatic. Is it Cinda, bro? I'm ecstatic about them joining. I think it's huge. It is a huge mistake for Putin. I mean, this is a colossal disaster for Putin that they're joining NATO. Or, I mean, that in principle they're joining NATO, right? Hopefully the Turks don't totally screw things up. You know, Sweden, Finland, I never realized how big the Finnish border was with Russia. And I mean, Google Europe and take a look. It's insane. I mean, when they talk about, and they're quite serious, this is going to double the amount of border that NATO has with Russia. It's huge, Finland. And Norway at the very top. Not Norway. Actually, is it Norway it's not Sweden at the very top. No, it's Norway at the very top, isn't it? That comes over as well, which is kind of funky to think because Norway is so damn big too. But I think there's a little bit of Norway at the top, not Sweden. Sweden doesn't directly connect at all. Sweden just has Gotland, and then I guess if you get to the other nearby pieces of Russia. But 1,350 kilometers, right, which would be, I think somebody said 800 miles. Nathan said, exactly. Wow, 830 miles. I mean, that's insane. That's just insane. But especially on a map when you see it. So no, this is a huge deal. And the fact that Putin, he's lying. He didn't invade because of NATO. He didn't invade because he was afraid of Ukraine joining NATO. He invaded because he wanted to reconstitute Greater Russia, and Ukraine is central to that. He did it as part of he wants to be the next czar. He wants to go down in history as the czar who recreated Great Russia, Magna Russia, whatever. But the Russians do fear NATO. And the fact that not only NATO held together, that not only NATO is adding, looks like it, is adding 2 new countries who are really big, huge countries with great militaries, right? I mean, this isn't like adding, I don't know, I'm not going to name names, but this isn't like adding Serbia. This is a huge, no offense, Serbs, but when you're talking Finland and Sweden, these are hugely important militaries. Thank you, Marcy, for that. And what was the final? Oh, yeah. And you're taking 2 countries that have been independent. I mean, Sweden, I was reading not independent, but non-aligned for hundreds of years or something crazy. You just don't. That's crazy. It's crazy what he accomplished by doing this. And I'm sorry. And the final point is when you see how bad the poll numbers were, looking back, the poll numbers were, yeah, I know we are coming up. Thank you, CB. Yeah, we'll go. I may go a little over because I was doing story time about Russia. When you look at how bad the poll numbers were in Sweden and Finland for joining NATO not that long ago, they were like in the 30% or 35 percentile, something like that. It's huge what Putin pulled off. I mean, the man deserves to be overthrown just on this. It's, and frankly, that probably still has our leaders a little skittish because they're all going, this is a big deal. What's Putin going to do? I can do another question or 2. Make sure I didn't miss anything on the super chat front or any of that. I'm squinting. I got to stop squinting. I've started squinting lately. I'm going to need LASIK eventually, which is going to suck. I don't want to do LASIK. No other news on the kid pleading guilty about the war crime, the 21-year-old Russian soldier. I don't know. Does Ukraine have the death penalty? I don't know. Very few countries do. We're one of the only ones who do. I doubt they do. So somebody can maybe tell us if somebody wants to Google and see if Ukraine has the death penalty. Watch the pressure change after the news. Why? Don't tell me there's more news. Are you mean in general after the news, or was there something else happening? There isn't something else happening that's going to piss me off, is there? Yeah, Russia. I mean, this was kind of a funny story. Irish Hugs, or maybe Iris Hugs. I thought it was Irish Hugs, which is kind of cute too. Iris Hugs asks, Russia using lasers to take down drones. Yeah, Russia put out this story about they've got, space lasers. Are they space lasers? Like, are they Jewish space lasers? Which that's an American political joke because one of the Looney Tune crazy people here in the country was talking about Jews having space lasers. And they're secret space lasers that Jews control. And it was just like, really? Like, really? So anyway, but Putin was talking something about these space lasers. Ukraine does not have the death penalty. He's facing life in prison. There you go. I can do the news recap. Good point. But the Russians were talking about, they've got lasers. They've got these lasers they're going to use. We better be careful. And, at this point, they haven't used the lasers yet. So, good luck with that. I mean, that's buying into that whole garbage about, the Russians are biding their time. It's only a matter of time before the Russians really start fighting back. Oops, adjust my thing here. Before the Russians really start fighting back. And it's like, if the Russians could fight back, they'd have already fought back. Nick, thank you, by the way. I saw the Borg thing. I like my Borg. Nicolina Olofsson. Sweden. I was going to guess. I always forget where you're from, Nicolina, but then I saw the SEK. Sweden. Norway and Finland connect at the top. Okay, I thought it was Norway. Yep. Sweden is between Norway and Finland, which I know. and below the Norway-Finland connection. Yep, it was that very top when I looked at the map that surprised me because I didn't think anybody other than Finland was up there in the east, but that Norway actually wraps over because I know Sweden's in the middle. That surprised me as well. So there you go. All right, guys, I will do the nothing significant in the news. Okay, then I will not have a heart attack. I will do the news summary because I didn't, and that was something we instituted a few days ago that you guys seemed to like, just for me to sort of actually, and I didn't do it at the beginning, did I? I was going to. I've got to remember to, just to sort of give the top headlines of what we talked about today. So the U.S. Senate has passed a $40 billion aid bill that includes money for Ukraine, but also includes money to help rebuild America's arsenal as well that we already gave to Ukraine. President Biden announced another $100 million with an M in military aid for Ukraine. Politico, which is a big respected publication here in the States, reports that President Biden is, I'm trying to think of how to summarize this, refusing to give Ukraine a multiple launch rocket system, which are basically rockets that can go a really long distance, in part because we are afraid the Ukrainians will use them in Russia, although that's easily solved by just telling Ukrainians not to, but also because, where's the quote here? They're afraid of escalation with the Kremlin and it upsetting Vladimir Putin. You can imagine I was very thrilled to hear that. It appears that Ukraine is still negotiating with Russia about the steel plant. The commanders are still there from last we heard. The otherwise about 1,730 of the troops appear to have been evacuated now. I mean, they're in Russian control. Russia has suspended the general who was in charge of invading Kharkiv, and obviously who did not invade Kharkiv, and that's why he was suspended. The Russian gymnast who wore a Z on his chest at his award ceremony has been suspended for a year and ordered to return his medal. The Russian, I copied this from the Kyiv Independent. I laugh because I copied it from the Kyiv Independent, and the story, the headline says, Russian occupiers. I just love it because they are, but I don't call them the Russian occupiers. I feel like a wartime news broadcast. But the Russians are reportedly trying to force young men in the eastern Ukrainian town of Izium to join the Russian military. And they're telling them, and this is, mind you, Izium was just recently occupied. I'd bet in the last few weeks it was occupied. And they're threatening them and saying, either join the Russian military and fight against, mind you, they're Ukrainians, and fight against the Ukrainians, or we're going to ship you off to Russia and kidnap you. The Russian soldier, 21-year-old, who pleaded guilty to murdering a 62-year-old Ukrainian citizen riding a bike, asked the man's wife for forgiveness today. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg says that the Russian offensive in Donbass in the east is stalled, but the war may continue for a long time because Russia has not given up on its strategic goals to control Ukraine. Google has pulled its employees from Russia after Russia seized Google's corporate bank account. I'm a little surprised why Google had any employees in Russia. I'm still not clear on that one. We found out that the Croatian president is irrelevant. Yesterday, the Croatian president said he was going to block NATO from letting the Swedes or the Finns in, and we only later found out that he has no say. So we don't care about the Croatian president. Croatia, apparently, the government is very pro letting in the Swedes and the Finns, which is good. Half of Russia's movie theaters may soon close because the sanctions have been so bad that they cut off all the foreign movies coming in. Disney, all of them. All the foreign movies were cut off. Warner or Time Warner, whatever they are. I don't know all the movie companies. The article had it in there, but according to the Russian Movie Theater Association, in other words, the Association of Russian Cinemas, in essence, they said it is hitting them far worse than COVID. The theaters are closing down. They think they're going to lose as many as, we say theaters in America interchangeably, but they think they're going to have to close as many as half of their cinemas in the entire country. And a separate article we saw from Izvestia, one of the big Russian publications, said that this was going to have an impact on other stores in shopping centers because people aren't coming for movies. They also aren't going to come to go shopping. They would apparently do both at once. So these sanctions are starting to have a ripple effect in the economy. And finally, I talked a little bit about a new anti-abortion law in the American state of Oklahoma that is banning abortion at fertilization. It has an exception for rape and incest, but only if the rape or incest has been reported to the police. And I pointed out that I imagine rape, but especially in the case of incest, it's not the kind of thing you always report because you're a little girl getting raped by your father. So you may not report that, or your mother may know about it, but she may not report it, but the mother may still take you to the doctor and go, she got pregnant, we can't do this. So really kind of a scary thing going on here. And that is it for the recap. All right, I am done with the Ukrainian news, but as always, we will hang and chat otherwise, unless, of course, I missed anything super chat wise, or if somebody has another super chat, you're always free to throw those in. That's the standing rule on super chats. It is insane. Yes, this is America and it is insane. Yes. I don't have anything more on Mariupol. The only Mariupol thing is that most of the soldiers are gone. Hi, Sweden. Most of the soldiers are gone from. Thank you. That the clam with the thing there. What was this? I'm trying to see who that was from so I can thank you. Ashley. Hello. Oh, it's not showing me who the clamshell was from. Sorry. Sometimes it shows me, but sometimes it blocks it because the picture gets so big on the screen. It blocked who that was. You. Oh, thank you, Cammie. I appreciate that, Cammie. That was sweet of you. Thank you. Boop. And I just remembered to add you as a moderator, Cammie, just in case. And thank you for that, Christy. Oh, double whammy there. Thanks, guys. B. Madsen. Hey, B. Good to see you again. Sorry, couldn't stick around for personal. Oh, I'm sorry. This is the time that we hang around and talk. So we just hang around for about 10 minutes, chat about stuff in general. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you coming. Not politics, but just hanging out. So if we want to talk, we can talk about my dog. We can talk about space aliens. We can talk about recipes, whatever. We can talk about the cute corgi. B. Madsen says, couldn't stick around for personal time yesterday with the shirt, but as a fellow Trekker, so I was wearing my Star Trek shirt. Thank you for the butterflies. I'm curious your thoughts, if any, on the UFO hearings. I didn't follow them closely. I read about the new video or whatever they were talking about, but that was it. I read briefly. I forgot to actually look into it. I've been so busy doing like the Ukraine stuff. Sasha is, let me see if Sasha's still on. So I've not been paying attention. I should be paying more attention because that's a big deal. And you know what's funny? I never bought into the Trekker thing. I still say I'm a Trekkie. The whole idea when they said Trekkers, that kind of, she's already gone, guys. Sorry. See, I'm going to show you guys. This was Sasha in the blanket. Sorry but you can see how she disappeared and her blanket is dragged across the floor. That means Sasha got up and went into my bedroom. I don't listen to podcasts. I used to have a podcast, but I never liked listening to podcasts, which was very funny. So no. God, any more cooking? I mean, who knows? There's all sorts of stuff. Thank you. Del Rio. That's it. I never could figure out what your name was. I think it's I Del Rio, maybe? Yeah. Oh, God, no. Is the Queen looking like she may have died? I mean, the Queen is not in good shape, obviously. I am friends with Dan, and I don't listen to Dan's podcast. I know. Iggy Woman, thank you. I probably would be too embarrassed to listen to Dan's podcast. Thank you, Lucy. We had Dan. There is an interview we did with Dan Savage in my YouTube. Check it out. It's from years ago, but you'll find it. It was so freaking funny, and I was mortified. Dan had me so embarrassed throughout not mortified, but so embarrassed throughout the entire thing. Oh, thank you, Peach. Oh, good. Thank you. I'm glad to hear that. But Dan had me so embarrassed because Dan just talks about sex, Dan Savage, and he's so open about it. And he did it once to me. We were talking on the phone years ago about something he was helping, because Dan's always been very helpful on the gay rights stuff, and of course, and everything else. And I was doing some big campaign, and he was helping me. And Dan was talking to me on the phone, and somehow mentioned something. I don't know, out of thin air. And I said, Dan, I don't talk about these kind of things. I was like, I was like, stop. And he started laughing. I was just like, he just talks about Dan is very healthy. Dan has a very healthy attitude towards sex, but it's very funny because it just, yeah. But no, the interview we had with him was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Thank you, Melissa. If you meant to ask a question, feel free, but otherwise that was very sweet of you. Thank you. Oh my. Oh, good, Debbie. I'm glad you've been learning a lot. What else? But Dan, Dan's a wonderful guy too. I love Dan. I wish he weren't on the other side of the coast, because I never see him, because he's in Seattle and I'm here in DC, opposite sides of the country. If the Queen dies, we get a week off work and school here. Plus, if she did it just after her Jubilee, we'd get 2 weeks off. Is that true? Harvey, don't say that. No, okay, so why are we talking about the Queen dying? Is that like the rumor or something? Is this a rumor thing about the Queen that I'm missing here, or what's going on with the Queen? You're scaring. I mean, not scaring me. I like the Queen. It's kind of a funny thing. I have an affinity for the Queen, even though I'm not a monarchist or whatever one calls it. Lori's asking a question, and thank you for the butterflies. Is that Samantha? Yep, thank you. Okay, Samantha's asking me one of those questions again. I'm no longer going to let you like turn me against people here, just so you know, Lori. Would you rather give up the internet for 5 years or keep your internet but work back at the UN for a year with your favorite colleague? No. If I were at the UN, I'd have committed suicide if I'd stayed at the freaking UN. What a horrible place. No, the only way would be literally if I were somehow, no, I would go back to the UN, but only if I could like go and work for the UN, the US ambassador to the UN. So I was siloed off. I didn't have to, I was working for America, although my boss was American, the lunatic corrupt as hell woman who let everybody mouth off bigotry and was a bully who made people cry was an American of all people. But nonetheless, I might go if it was working for a really cool American who was so high up that I was untouchable. Maybe. But don't you dare, exactly. That's what I was going to say. Don't you dare get me talking about the UN again. Watch it, Lori. I'll only let you go so far on that one. All right. Who's spamming? Watch it. The UN's a horrible. I worked at the UN. It was the worst place to work in my entire life. But we're not going to talk about it today. Horrific place to work. But yes, let's not get talking. I think somebody already got the person you're complaining about. I was just looking to see what they were spamming about. You got him? Okay, Tara. I was just looking to see who the person was. Tara got him. Thank you, Tara. I am a big cook. I love cooking. But because I live alone, I don't know what's for dinner. Because I live alone, I don't necessarily cook all the time because actually I have like 3 meatballs left over in the freezer that I made, of course, Greek meatballs. And I don't have spaghetti. Actually, that's not true. I probably have some spaghetti sauce. I make my own spaghetti sauce, of course. I mean, not of course, but I don't like the stuff from the can. So I would, yeah, cute Harvey. So I will probably grab some spaghetti sauce out of the freezer, my meatballs, pasta, and then I've got a really nice Greek cheese that's called mizitra. Mizitra. I always forget if it's a th, but it's like a pecorino romano, but much better. It's, I would say, creamier than a romano, and the flavor is much more nuanced than a romano. Romano is I find romano to be a very like one-note cheese kind of thing, whereas mizitra, there's something else a little more elegant going on. It's very nice, but to have it on pasta, oh my God. It's great on tomato sauce, but it's also great on just pasta with not burnt butter, but butter that you brown and then use the mizitra. Oh my God. Oh, with lamb. Oh. Yes, I make some good Greek food. But yeah, I'm going to have a simple thing tonight, probably. Yes, that's the one her name is Mila, because when you call her Mila, she has a conniption fit, as my mother would say, conniption fit. That's an old American expression. Well, I shouldn't say it's old American. It's not an English word. It's got to be from something. It's got to be Yeah, watch it, Leon, watch it. But Knipchen has got to be like a German or a Yiddish word, maybe, or something. I'm guessing Knipchen. But we say a Knipchen fit, but young people today probably don't even know the word, I would bet. Boy, Kirk or Picard, who's best? Boy. German? Oh, interesting. It is German then. That's funny. Knipchen. And what does it mean? Probably Picard. Probably Picard over Kirk. And that's not because Kirk is kind of a sexist pig and all of that, obviously, in retrospect. But Kirk in his time, you gotta consider Kirk in his time. But your mother said it and she was French. How funny. Oh, that is funny. Wow. That's funny. Huh. Don't have a conniption. Yeah. Yeah. But again, I don't wonder if kids today would say it. Plain flour. No, I use plain flour. The thing is, Melissa, for my mug cake, I add baking powder. I messed up in the video I did. I add baking powder, but that's just me. I just added a little bit just because I thought, maybe it would help give it a little bit of a rise. I didn't want a crazy rise, but we don't use self-using. Okay, I'm going to make a generic statement. It's Dutch German. Oh, that's interesting. I did not know that, Jeff. Okay. I don't want to say generally we don't use self-rising flour here, but we don't use self-rising flour here. I rarely see. I thought it would have been Yiddish, Knipchen. Yeah. Well, but I think because it sounds German to us. But in American recipes that I encounter, we never use self-rising flour ever. If I get a recipe with self-rising flour, I'm sitting there going, oh my God. And then I've got to go and Google how to make self-rising flour out of my regular flour and baking powder, soda, whatever. We just don't. I don't know if it's more used in Europe. I think it might be. But in American recipes, I don't have a single recipe from anybody I've ever gotten that uses self-rising flour. Whenever I find one online, I'm always like, oh. But it might work for this. I just think it could use a little bit of a rise. You don't want a big rise, but a little bit. And if anything, for the appearance too, because you get a little more of a. But no, I love that thing. Like I said, maybe 30 seconds in a 1200 watt microwave will leave it cooked on the outside, gooey on the inside. And I didn't even realize, I thought this is my chocolate mug cake that I adore. I did not realize that the cocoa, but this is baking cocoa, so the dry stuff that has no sugar. I didn't realize it has no fat. I thought it had fat in it. So you're not getting any fat at all. It's just a recipe that has sugar. Because I forgot to add the oil to it once, and it turned out so good that I was like, okay, why not? Starter and main course, or main course and dessert, from Lori. Oh, main course and dessert. Oh, please. That's not even a question. Yeah. Because starter's fine, but my problem is a main course will often get me full anyway. But dessert, I'll eat. Dessert's like pizza. I can always eat more of that. So, oh no, and I love dessert. So dessert's my favorite. I'm now reading people saying that, see, the self-rising, it's used a lot in the UK. See, that was my thought, that this was sort of a European thing, because I seem to remember seeing it in European recipes. Self-raising for cakes and plain flour for biscuits, cookies, and sauces. Funny. That's interesting. The etymology online says conniption is American English, origin unknown. Get out of here. Oh, and Dawn Annette says you're right. I'm not sure about what. For the self-raising cakes. I see. Self-raising for cakes and plain flour for biscuits and cookies. Right. That's funny. American etymology. That's ridiculous. That's funny. It does sound German for sure. What is a common Greek restaurant? Oh, a common Greek dish, you mean? That's tough, because if you're not sure, you probably haven't had one. I mean, because like the most not common, but moussaka is well known, which is an eggplant dish. I don't want to say an eggplant cat. Okay, the best way to describe moussaka is an eggplant pasticcio, but fewer people tend to know. Oh, gyro, that's true. Okay, the one you might be most familiar with, and I will say it the American way, even though it kills me, is gyro. Gyro. We say gyro, but gyro. And it's the meat, often lamb, that is spiced, but with not hot spiced, but, oregano and garlic and everything else. And it's cooks by going around in a circle, and they shave it off and they put it in the pita bread, and they'll put like really good fresh tomatoes and maybe cucumbers and lettuce and a garlic cucumber sauce on top. Oh my God. Oh, I will say that's true. Gyros is good. You can't make gyros, but that's really good stuff. But pasticcio people usually don't know as well as moussaka. And I've got a good rap. Moussaka is, only the other day I had this epiphany that moussaka is shepherd's pie with eggplant inside ish. I would argue it's a step. I like shepherd's pie, but it's a step above shepherd's pie. But it kind of is like a shepherd's pie with eggplant. So if you had it, you would know. Getting cold again here. All right. Now the sun's going down, so the temperature's finally adjusting to normal here. All right. Hello. There we go. Yeah, tzatziki. I love tzatziki. I haven't made tzatziki in a while. I have to make that. I like to make tzatziki and just leave it in the fridge for a week and just eat it with bread. Like just slop it down. Very healthy. It's basically, what is it? Yogurt. Yeah, thank you. It is good for you to keep reminding me of that fact. What are you sneezing about, silly? Sasha's back in her bed sneezing. What are you sneezing about? But yeah, tzatziki is she's sneezing. It's cute. Is egg. I'm listening to my dog sneeze. It's throwing my train of thought. It's like having a kid. It's yogurt. What are you sneezing about? Oh my God. Yogurt with cucumber in it. You grate the cucumber very fine. So on a cheese grater, but I would almost use like fine cheese, not like mozzarella, but like a fine cheese, like the way you would grate Parmesan, like that kind of a grater. So you just destroy the eggplant. You then squeeze the water out of the eggplant. Not eggplant. Listen to me, eggplant. Cucumber. Sorry, eggplant. Cucumber. What do you call them? Aubergines, I guess. Cucumbers, we say in America. So yeah, you grate it really fine. You squeeze the water out of it. You then mix that with yogurt. You throw in some garlic, some olive oil. We might put a little bit of lemon juice, depends. A little bit of mint, little salt maybe, maybe not. And you then mix it together and put it in the fridge at least for a day. People eat it the same day. You can, it's fine, but it thickens and the flavor, matures overnight in the fridge. There are recipes to tell you exactly how much and all of that, but it's wonderful. Don't you call it? No, cucumber is a cucumber. You're right. Aubergine is the other one. The other one. No, not aubergine, courgette. Courgette's the one you guys confuse me with too. Because the French say courgette, but it's in English. That's what I was thinking we were getting confused on. What's a courgette? Oh my God, help me. It's the green thing you slice up, you use in ratatouille. Help me here. No, eggplant. Eggplant's the aubergine one. It's the long green vegetable that you chop up. Zucchini. There you go. Yeah, we say zucchini. Yeah, courgette, I think, is what the French say. And the Brits. Don't the Brits say courgette as well? I thought you did. In any case, well, we get to this point where then we're now done with the politics, and now we're doing the fun chatting about everything. Correct, Annette. You have to drain the cucumber. Yes, you got to drain the cucumber. So otherwise, the whole thing could just get a little too wet. But it's very good. And then courgette. That's what I thought. And then you can just eat that with bread. Like I'll put it on the side of my plate and eat it with bread, and I'm happy as a clam. Actually, you're reminding me. I'm going to put this on my list because I am due at the grocery store one of these days. But to say, I'll also put tzatziki so I know what to buy. Oops, tzatziki. Hang on, tzatziki. And I want to buy some hummus too. I think maybe I have hummus. Do I have hummus? Hummus is, I found, very good with meatballs, believe it or not. Like I'll have sometimes for a really cheap, I may even do it tonight for a really cheap dinner. Oh, I don't have the bread though. I usually make bread, but since I just got back from Chicago, I haven't made my bread yet. But I make sourdough or whatever. But I'll toast my bread and just have hummus with a lot of lemon, my bread, and Greek meatballs, and just kind of cut the meatball up, put a little hummus on it, eat it with the bread, and like, oh, good dinner. I like food. You guys are making me hungry. Oh my. No, we straightened out the vegetables. So the correct vegetable to use for tzatziki is cucumber. That is the correct one. As I said, you grate the hell out of it and then squeeze out the water well. Oh, yeah, the colonel. He was a colonel, actually. Yes, so the colonel who was on Russian TV several days ago and basically said the war wasn't going well. The Ukrainians are going to, they're going to get 1 million men. It's going to be really bad. We don't have the morale. The whole world's turned against us. He then went when it became a story worldwide that he had done this. He then went back either last night or the night before and gave up. We are going to win this, and like now he's totally Mr. We're going to win the war. Very sad, very sad. I have had borscht before, but only recently when the war started did I learn that borscht is Ukrainian. It is another thing that the Russians tried to claim that they created, but they did not. Hello, you. All right, I'm going to get a little treat for my dog and then show her to you guys. Hold on, Annette, I'm getting rid of your thing so I can. Did I get a fine in the States if you don't pick up Sasha? Oh, shit. Oh, yeah. Are you kidding? If they see you, you're in trouble. Yeah. But I'm good about picking it up because you should. Anyway, come here. I'm going to give you a little bit of a treat, but then you've got to say hi to people to earn your treat, okay? You know how this goes. Okay, come here. Come on. No, come. We're going to do both. Here you go. Thank you. One of the things that cracks me up about my dog is she's very particular about stuff. Like, here, she hates being picked up, but at the same time, if I'm picking her up because I'm giving her a treat, thank you, Poppy, then she's totally cool with it. Not totally cool, but she's fine with it. But she'll run from me otherwise. But if I've got food, it's like, okay. And it drives me a little crazy because it's this whole sort of, she's a little bit too smart, and I know she's smart, and I know she's playing with me, basically. Yeah, now she wants to get down, okay. But I know she's playing with me sometimes where she's like, no, I'll never do that. Oh, for food? Okay, I'll do that. You're like, I brushed her yesterday. Are you making fun of my dog? I brushed Sasha yesterday, yeah. I've got to brush her because she does. She gets little knots and things if I don't brush her. Now she's running around wanting to play with me, of course. What's Harvey saying here? Did you hear about the Russian Duma member arrested on the – wait, I didn't see this. Russian Duma member arrested on the American-Mexican border after fleeing Russia in March for openly opposing the war? No. Really? Wait, he's not the one, though, that there was some kind of a weird drug mafia tie or something. Isn't there something like that? Or are they accusing him of it? Thanks, Annette. Or are they accusing him of it because they're trying to like blackmail or blacklist the guy now or something? You've got 5 dogs. Wow. Oh, thank you. Oh, Ricky Tiki Fabi. That's cute. Ricky Tiki Tumbo or whatever. Remember that? She is a cute dog. I know. She's a trip. Thank you for the butterflies, guys. Oh, there's no T in borscht. Interesting. Borscht. I forgot how it's spelled in Russian. Is it just borscht? Isn't borscht? I thought there was a T. There's no T? I don't know why I thought that. Maybe people pronounce it wrong and I listen to people. You sure there's no T in Russian the way it's written? All right, I'm double checking this. Well, first of all, there is a T the way we write it in English. That doesn't mean that it's there in Russian. Let me borscht in Russian. Here we go. I want to see the way. Come on. Unless one of you people tell me here. If they're not going to show the Russian word. Place of origin, Ukraine. Ha-ha, as we thought. All right, hold on. I'm pulling up my translation app here. All right, translation app. We're testing you, CB, here. I'm testing you. All right, you better be right. Don't get me wrong here. Hold on, guys. I am double checking here. Let's do Ukrainian. Let's try that first. Oop. So English to Ukrainian, borscht. In Ukrainian, it's borscht or borscht. Yeah, borscht. No, it's borscht. I'm forgetting my. Goddamn, I forgot my. No, this is. It's not just sh. It's yeah. Sh. Although that's, I think. Let me check Russian here, because Ukrainian messes me up. Oh, same thing in Russian. Yeah.
Борщ.
Borscht. Oh, they're saying borscht. Yeah.
Борщ.
Borscht. Okay, no, it's not sh. It's borscht.
Борщ.
So it is sh. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I don't know why we do it with a T in English.
Борщ.
Okay. And Ukrainian, I'm guessing, pronounces it the same way.
Борщ.
Oh, that's interesting. You crazy Ukrainians. Hold on, listen to this.
Борщ.
Oh, I forgot my mic is down here. So they're saying the Russians say borscht and the Ukrainians say borscht or borscht. There's a double.
Борщ.
Borscht is what they're saying for the Ukrainians.
Борщ.
Borscht. Whereas in Russian, I'll pull up the Russian again. Here.
Борщ.
Borscht, they're saying in Russian.
Борщ.
Yeah. So for Russian, they're saying borscht. And in Ukrainian, they're saying borscht. Ukrainian is so freaking hard. I'm forgetting my Russian letters now. That's not just the sh. That's the sh. Or sh. I'm trying to borscht. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Borscht. What meat is in borscht? Scary. I think wonder meat is what we had when I was in Russia. It's like it's the kind of meat you don't want to ask, as I recall. When I was in Russia, at least, is that not true? Ukrainian is hard though. There's too much. I mean, I know it's different than Russian, but it's so different from Russian. No meat in borscht. It's a beet soup. What? You know what? Maybe we had something else, but I remember having some kind of floating meat fat thing when I was in Russia. That was a little scary. The borscht was good though. That was very good with the sour cream or whatever. Actually, you know what I liked too, but this was in the Russian Far East. We did have mystery meat, which was a little scary, but we also had the drink, the fermented yogurt drink. I forgot if we use the same name out here, because all the little millennials buy it in the store now. But I forget if that's what we called it in the kefir. I'm trying to remember if we called it kefir in the Russian Far East as well. I think we did. It was very good. Yeah, kefir is what I'm thinking. But I'm trying to remember if we called it kefir. It was very good. I tried it. It was good. I remember I was like, people were afraid of trying it. I was like, but it wasn't bad. It was certainly the Russian Far East. So, I mean, it was Russian, but it was the Russian Far East though. This was in Kamchatka. So who knows what they were calling it there. But maybe it was kefir. I forgot what the word was. We had fun there. God, that was Marion and I both went there. And Tiffany, who's on here sometimes as well via Facebook. That was fun. Check out Nathan's translation above. Okay, where's Nathan? Nathan. I know. Live show on the road. We could. I've never done one. The problem is, of course, everyone's spread out everywhere, so that kind of makes it hard. I'm totally lost as to where. Oh, all right. Dog wants to go again. Here you go. Oh, there you go. Going outside. I'm not good at finding things people wrote earlier, so I'm not sure what you mean, CB, when you say go see what Nathan's translation above. I don't know where that is. I'm looking, but I'm not seeing anything. It's best to copy and paste things when you see it, because I will never find it above, probably. No. I'm seeing absolutely nothing from Nathan above. Sorry. Borscht. That's cute. Yeah. Yes. Well, if you say the T, exactly, like I do. I've never made it, though. I'll have to try making it at some point. I mean, beef, I don't mind beets, I guess. Oh, I don't eat beets, really. But that's funny. All right. Kefir is a mushroom. Oh, interesting that you put in buttermilk. Get out of here. I didn't know that. Annette is saying kefir is a mushroom. You put it in buttermilk, leave it for some days. Very healthy, they claim. Interesting. I don't remember if that's what it was though. It was definitely a fermented drink, but not okay. When I say fermented drink, I mean like a fermented milk drink. It wasn't fermented alcohol, so to speak, but it was a fermented milk drink. It was very good. It surprised me, and I had more because it was a yogurt. It was a yogurt drink, and I remember I had another glass because I really liked it. We certainly didn't call it kombucha in Russian Far East, but maybe it was. But it was very good. Let me see. I think yes. It's yes, because it's updating the questions for me. Yes, it did that the other day. That's how I knew to ask you to do it, because the other day it did it as well. It surprised me. It surprised me and was updating things. Very big thing in the 70s, kombucha. That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, they didn't call it kombucha, but I don't even, let me look here. I'm going to Google. I'm still not convinced. Maybe they did call it kefir, but I'm not convinced they did. Let me see here. I'm going to say Russian. Maybe they did, because it was a, I remember it was a drink that also is shared around Asia as well. That's where the Russian Far East got it. Far East fermented drink. Prychep. What the hell? Kvass? Definitely wasn't kvass. The famous fermented drink from Russia. No, because this wasn't alcohol though. This was fermented milk drink. Let me find that. Yeah, this was definitely a milk drink. Hang on. Come on. Oh my God, go away. Far East fermented. Sasha, I'm gonna get. All right, that's it. Get in here. Get in here. I only let her bark for like 30 seconds, and then I think it's rude, and I hate when the neighbors do that. Kefir, yeah, kefir. Fermented drink, not unlike yogurt. Okay. That's got to be it then, because they're showing it in Russian as kefir. Let me see if there were other pronunciations. Also spelled as kefir, Russian kefir. Okay. It must have been kefir then, yeah. Yeah, okay. It was very good. I was surprised. Yeah, kombucha I've been a little scared to try, I must say. I'm sure it's probably good. Sorry, Annette. I'm showing your stuff here since it doesn't always show the Facebook comments to everybody else, of course, on YouTube, but I put it there so folks can see it. I've got to make sure. Well, YouTube, Harvey, what I've got to make sure is that my damn videos, I keep forgetting to turn on the ads. So I'm intrigued that you're even getting ads before the lives and stuff. But I keep forgetting to turn them on because it's a pain in the ass that I'm using this outside website to do it. That of course the ads default to off, which is annoying. It doesn't. You have to. I will say you have to. I learned this before. You have to get like my name, John. My last name's Aravosis, if that's what you mean. Although it's Greek, it's Aravosis. But we'd say Aravosis. I keep meaning to look up the Somalia thing. I am not up on the Somalia thing, but I've got to look into it, guys. I don't know. Somebody's asking on TikTok. I'm just not up on it. No, I've seen kefir in grocery stores. It's just ridiculously expensive. And I've made my own yogurts. I'm kind of curious to look up a kefir recipe because, I've made my own yogurt from time to time. It's easy. I've got a little, the yogurt maker is kind of a joke. It's simply a little thing that holds the temperature. But it's good, and I've got some of the dried milk I use to thicken it up and stuff. It's good, but yogurt's yogurt's not cheap. It's not too expensive though across the street, I guess. At the store, but still. All right, guys, I am going to sign off because I do have to make dinner and we're heading towards 8:00 here, my time in the evening, and my meatballs await me. But yes, I've got to look into. I'll see if I can find a recipe for kefir that doesn't gross me out. That doesn't look like. Thank you, Christy. That doesn't look like I'll be killing myself by making it. And I did email Mary about the shirts. She hasn't gotten back to me yet, but about the really cool Ukraine logo shirts. So, merci, Audriane. But I will see you guys. Okay, yeah. So Friday tomorrow, we're doing the same thing. So I'm sticking with this time period. I'm sticking with this time period. I'm sticking with this time period. We are going to keep doing 6 p.m. Eastern time, midnight Paris. And then on the weekends, of course, I've got to see exactly on Saturday what time. Probably 2 p.m. Eastern is my guess. Feel free to send me the recipe. I'd be willing to try it. Again, if it doesn't look disgusting, I'll try it. Let's leave it there. Well, that's interesting. Oh, that'd be interesting, Syndicate. As long as you don't like put my face on like some hunky body or something, I'd be cool with it. Although actually, maybe I should be okay with you portraying me that way. Interesting though. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off. I want to eat a little bit and chill, but this is good. All right, I will. Like I said, tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern time, U.S., midnight Paris. We will do this again, and but we did a half-hour hangout today. Wow, very long. I know. Inviting you for Greek dinner. I do. If you're in town, I would. Although I've got to watch that because then you'll probably pop up in town and be like, "It's Annette at your door." You invited me. Oh, I brought her in. That's right. Okay, Sasha's not out there. Good. Well, I'll be around. Well, we'll be around on the weekend or whenever you can. There's no obligation to come every day, folks. The news will sadly always be here. All right, guys, I will say goodbye. TikTokers, once I'm sure you're caught up. I mean, I will hang up on TikTok when I know because I always worry you're more delayed. YouTubers, we'll see you all and hopefully see you guys tomorrow. All right. Thank you for everything. Thank you, mods, as always. You do amazing work keeping the trolls in check. And thank you, everybody, for joining us and talking recipes, as always. All right. Bye-bye.